Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back and it is Monday, July 27th, and it is 9:44 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope everyone is doing well this evening. We are going to get into the news, so let's just jump over there now. As always, there's always a lot of news to go through. And I do, before I start, I do want to thank the following two people who donated via coffee, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Anon and Nanobytes. I love that name, Nanobytes. Anyway, thank you so much for your contribution. I appreciate it. It does go to help the channel as we are demonetized, and we'll probably always be demonetized now because of the content. So that's all right. We'll carry on regardless. All right, let's just jump in here anywhere and get to the news. All right. This is very interesting by Dabu7. The NFAC leader that threatened to burn down Louisville was caught admitting they are all paid off. Of course we know this. That's not a surprise to any of us. I know that nobody's going, what? No way. I mean, we realize this, but the more times we get this on camera, on video of them admitting these things, well, the more it will wake people up. So let's have a listen to this.
Everybody want to get on the bandwagon now. They're giving out money. They're giving out money. Right, they ain't doing shit. That's why the Texas ain't doing shit. Because they're giving them out money to sell them. Yeah. And you just know everybody had the Texas to break you back to deal with something. Now, Bruh.
So what he's saying is he's talking with this other guy in the background, the one that's videotaping, and he's saying, this guy is saying, well, yeah, they're being paid, but they're not doing anything. Basically, they're being paid to, you know, to peacefully protest, right? And yet they're not doing anything. So he's admitting that they're paid, and then he realizes when the guy continues on. I know that the auditory quality on this is very, very poor, but the other guy keeps asking him questions, and he does this. So let's just play this one more time. Said everybody's on the bandwagon now because they're giving out money, but they ain't doing shite. Yeah. So, and at the very, very last there, I can't really make out what they're saying, but it's very clear at the beginning that he's saying, you know, they're giving out money, but they're not doing, he says everybody's jumping on the bandwagon now because they're giving out money. And, you know, but they're not doing shite, basically. They're not doing what they're being paid to do, which is cause havoc. So, I don't understand personally why George Soros cannot be shut down. I don't understand why, since it's clearly his money that's doing this, why this can't be, why they can't put a stop to this somehow. Why can't they seize his money? I don't get that. I really don't get it. But I have to just hope and pray that eventually George Soros will be dealt with. And let's go on to this. And this is just the news. White House petition to investigate Gates Foundation garners more than 600,000 signatures. Petitioners want the foundation to be probed for crimes against humanity and medical malpractice. And I think that that would be a good start, really. I don't see this happening, though. I really don't see this happening. But maybe I'm a little bit jaded, but I don't know. I think Bill Gates is a very, very big fish to fry. And I don't know. Not saying that he's untouchable. He's not, but it would surprise me if they did anything like this. He should be investigated. Absolutely. White House petition that was launched in April to investigate Bill and Melinda Gates for crimes against humanity and medical malpractice has amassed 6 times the amount of signatures needed in order to get an official response. So they are going to have to give this petition a official response. Created by CS, the petition states that Microsoft founder Gates should not be trusted with helping find a cure for COVID-19. In one portion, the petition states, at the forefront of this is Bill Gates, who has publicly stated his interest in reducing population growth by 10 to 15% by means of vaccination. Gates, UNICEF, and WHO have already been credibly accused of intentionally sterilizing Kenyan children through the use of hidden HCG antigen in tetanus vaccines. That is a fact. That did happen. In fact, they don't like him very much in Africa. They know that he has caused irreparable damage to children there, killing children, sterilizing others. The vaccines are, that's been his testing ground. He always tests in Africa, because apparently they don't matter. The petition was launched on April 10th. Within days, it garnered 100,000 signatures, thereby meeting the site's terms to review the petition, place it in front of appropriate policy experts, and issue an official response. Sorry, I'm having trouble tonight. I don't know why. As Sunday night, it should read, Sunday night, more than 618,000 people have signed the petition. Gates, the Microsoft founder, has been one of the world's most generous health donors, pledging and spending billions to address the AIDS crisis, mosquito-borne diseases, and pandemic preparedness. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation this spring committed to $1.6 billion to the Gavi Vaccine Alliance and an additional $100 million to support COVID-19 vaccines in impoverished countries. And do you really think that Bill Gates cares about the citizens of impoverished countries? He doesn't. He only cares about reducing the population because he's one of the biggest eugenicists this world has ever created. But his philanthropy has sown distrust among some, fearful that Gates relies too much on technology and vaccines, and the World Health Organization. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the nephew of former President John F. Kennedy, has sharply criticized Gates for what he describes as a messianic conviction that he is ordained to save the world with technology. Gates has addressed the criticisms most recently 2 months ago after the petition began. His foundation said the attacks are often based on misinformation. Whenever science intervenes to stop a disease, there's often an adjunct outbreak of misinformation. Mark Sussman, CEO of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, told the Wall Street Journal, these falsehoods can spread faster than the disease itself and can cause real harm. COVID-19 is infectious and deadly enough. Really? Deadly enough? It's got a 0.026 fatality rate, which is less than the common flu, and we never have shut the entire country down for the flu, have we? Why aren't they working on a vaccine to cure the flu? Like, that's a question that I've had recently. It's like, wait a minute, the flu kills all these people every year. Why haven't they come up for a vaccine against the flu? Now, I know you're saying, well, the flu shot. But that really doesn't. There are so many different variations of the flu. There's lots of people that I know personally that had flu shots that still got the flu. So, I don't know. This is not that big a deal. I mean, yes, if you are elderly and immune compromised, well, then anything's going to be a threat to you. The common cold is going to be a threat to you, right? So, yeah, this is not that deadly at all. But they're making it seem like we have to shut the whole world down. We didn't do that for the swine flu. We haven't done that for anything in the past. Even when they had the Spanish flu, that in 1918, you know, they didn't shut the whole world down. So this is something entirely new. This has never occurred before. In the history of the world, it's never occurred before. And it's for something that 99.9% of people are just fine. They won't die from this. But the very elderly and the immune compromised, yeah, it's a threat to them, but so is everything. The common flu can wipe them out easily, and does every year. So yes, I think that there should be precautions taken for the elderly, just as there should be precautions with the elderly for getting the flu. But come on, shutting the whole country down, ruining our economy, you know, throwing millions into unemployment. It's ludicrous. Making us all wear face diapers. It's insane. All right, so it says COVID-19 is infectious and deadly enough. We don't need misinformation to make it even deadlier, he added. Right now, one of the best things we can do to stop the spread of the disease is spread the facts. Oh, what? The facts according to Bill Gates? No, thank you. He's a known liar. And yeah, he's got millions and billions at stake in this. And he's one of the world's top eugenicists. He has admitted that he wants to reduce the world's population. And he also stated, and I think I played that video on one of my programs recently, where he said that one of the ways that we could reduce the world's population was through vaccines. And he wants us to trust him to allow whatever concoction he's dreamed up to put that in our bodies? I don't think so. I mean, you know, knock yourself out if you think that it's going to help you. I am not taking it, and I think that I have very good reasons not to. So, but I do think that sooner or later it is going to be mandatory. I really do believe that. Now, they may say that it's not mandatory, but they'll say, well, we can't have you come to school unless you've had the vaccine because you could infect other people. Well, we can't have you come to work. You might infect the other workers. Well, we can't have you working in the hospital without the vaccine. You know how those things go. It's already mandatory for those that work in healthcare to have the flu shot. It's not a vaccine, but it's a flu shot. So I don't know. Anyway, let's go back because there's more. Always more. All right. Now, this is very interesting. This from the Daily Wire. Experimental drug promises to kill the flu virus in a single day. Now, this is from February 11th, 2018. This is the first I've seen this. And I don't know what has come of it. It says 2018 has been a devastating year for the flu. So far, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has recorded 63 pediatric deaths, and it's not even the middle of February yet. But now, a Japanese drug maker claims that it has developed a pill that can kill the virus within a day, the Wall Street Journal reports. A late-stage trial on Japanese and American flu patients found that for people who took the Xiango and company compound, the median time taken to wipe out the virus was 24 hours. That is much quicker than any other flu drug on the market, including Roche's AG Tamiflu, which the trials showed took 3 times longer to achieve the same result. Quickly killing the virus could reduce its contagious effects, I can't pronounce that, said. Also, their experimental drug requires only a single dose, while patients need to take 2 doses of Tamiflu a day for 5 days. Both Xianogi's compound and Tamiflu take roughly the same amount of time to entirely contain flu symptoms, but Xianogi says its compound provides immediate relief faster. Now, here's my question. If they have a drug that can knock out the flu, what's happening with this drug? Because this is the first I'm hearing about it. And also, would that not be effective since they're both coronaviruses? The flu is a coronavirus. Would this be effective on COVID? Now, I know that they don't want to find a cure for it, because if they did want to find a cure for it, they would be administering HCQ, hydroxychloroquine. They would be prescribing that routinely. It's available over the counter in many, many countries. You don't even need a prescription for it. It's a very safe drug. I know they try to convince you that it's not, but statistics would prove otherwise. This drug's been on the market a very long time. Huge portions of the world have been on this at one time or another because it is, well, I had to take it, a form of it, when I went to Central America and was working in the rainforest there. I had to take it because of all the malaria there, and dengue fever and all sorts of nasty things that were there. So, and I didn't have any problems with it at all. I didn't have any side effects or whatever, and I didn't get malaria. So I guess that's not really proving that it's that it protected me, because who knows, maybe I wouldn't have got it anyway. But anyway, I say all that to say that it's a very safe drug. A lot of the world can receive it over the counter. It's safe and effective, and it has been shown to be effective against CV. So if they were really looking for a cure, that's what they would be giving, right? Right. But they're instead pushing a drug that's not as effective and costs $1,000 a pill. It's all about money, and it's all about pushing that vaccine. That's what it's about. That's the bottom line. Because if they wanted to cure it, they could. All this nonsense could end. It could all end because they could give people HCQ prophylactically. They could give it to prevent them getting it, and those that had the symptoms could get it. You know, but the doctors have been told not to prescribe it. A lot of doctors have, and they have to jump through so many hoops in order to prescribe it, which is ridiculous. So I don't believe that they're looking for a cure at all. And why haven't we heard about this? Scientists at the Japanese company leveraged their work on a blockbuster anti-HIV drug to create the compound, which works differently from existing flu medicines. It blocks the flu virus from hijacking human cellular machinery. Chief Executive Isao Teshirogi said Switzerland's Roche has acquired the international license to distribute Xiangogi, I can't, these names are killing me, experimental drug. So why, okay, the flu shot so many Americans got this year turned out to be only 10% effective against the strain that has spread across the U.S. Unfortunately, the new experimental drug won't be available in the U.S. until next year at the earliest. So that would have been 2019, because this was in 2018. So the earliest it would have been available was 2019. We're now into 2020 and coming up on 2021. So where's the drug? Why haven't we heard about it? Why isn't it being used? Why hasn't it been, you know, why haven't they attempted to use this drug against COVID? I'd like to know, wouldn't you? I really would. If there's any healthcare professionals here, nurses, doctors, what have you, weigh in on this. Have you heard of this new drug from Japan? Says it's that they're fast tracking its approval and could approve it for use in Japan as early as March. The regulator declined to comment. Roche and Xiangoji said they will apply for U.S. approval this summer, and Xiangoji doesn't expect a decision until next year. So wonder if they're holding that drug up. I think I need to do a little bit more investigation on this, don't you think? Because I would be very, very interested to know if it's being held, if FDA approval is being held up for some reason. And I think we could probably guess what that reason is. So I think I need to look a little bit further into this, but I just wonder, why haven't we heard of it? Can wipe it out in a day. Do you know how many elderly people would be saved by that drug? A lot. because the flu wipes out the very old and the very young every single year. Every year you've got a lot of death from the flu. So I would think that they'd be wanting to fast track this. Anyway, maybe that's just me. All right, let's go here. Now, to tell you the truth, I'm a little confused about all this Tom Hanks stuff, because, you know, he was arrested while he was over in Australia, and he was arrested. You know, there's questions about whether we've seen the real Tom Hanks or not, and now they're saying that they are officially citizens of Greece. Well, it's no loss, really, because we know what they were into. So I always loved Tom Hanks. I loved his movies. I thought he was extremely talented. But now, after knowing what we know, I will never attend a Tom Hanks movie again, ever. I doubt he will be making any. Hollywood seems to be shut down right now. Movie star Tom Hanks and wife Rita Wilson have officially become citizens of Greece, the country's prime minister announced Sunday. Prime Minister, oh my gosh, I can't pronounce that. We'll just call him Prime Minister. Made the announcement in an Instagram post in which the couple posed with passports. Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks are now proud Greek citizens. The Prime Minister writes in the social media post, the couple's efforts to gain Greek citizenship has been known since late last year. Greece's president, I'm not going to try that one either, reportedly signed an honorary naturalization order in December 2019, allowing the couple to claim Greek citizenship. Well, interestingly enough, they're really not escaping anything, because we do have an extradition treaty with Greece. So if they decided to pursue anything against Tom Hanks, he can be extradited back to the United States. So maybe not the best choice, but who knows? The 63-year-old Wilson is of Greek ancestry. She and Hanks, 64, frequently spend their summer vacations on the Greek island of Antiparos. According to USA Today, Hank announced in January that he was starting 2020 as an honorary citizen of all of Greece. Under Greek law, honorary naturalization may be granted to people who have provided exceptional services to the country or whose naturalization serves the public interest. Hanks announced March 11th that he and Wilson had contracted the novel coronavirus while in Australia filming a movie. The purpose of the Return to Play document is to offer AHSAA member schools best practices in order to commence the... Okay, this seems to be an entirely different article right here. It has nothing to do with Tom Hanks. You know, the writing that is, you know, websites that are providing news, even the alternative websites, the writing has become so bad. And I know I complain about this all the time, and I can't help it. I've got my master's in English, and so yeah, it's like a sore spot to me. I don't get it. Everybody can make mistakes, but we're talking like huge mistakes that should be caught by any editor, if there are such a thing anymore. I don't think that there are. I think they're all missing in action. Anyway, so that's it. I guess it just ended there, and they started writing about something else here, about AHSAA member schools best practices. All right, so there you go. Anyway, they are now citizens of Greece, if you can believe that. And I don't know what to believe anymore, to tell you the truth, because there's things that seem so real that aren't. You know? I think you do know. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, and let's come back here. And Diamond and Silk, I love these ladies. Why would black people say the Republican Party is racist when the Republican Party was started by black people? That's a good question, Diamond and Silk. I wish more people would ask that. I really do. It's true. And Dan Bongino says, the lib media lies, then they lie about lying, and when they're caught, they lie about when they lied about lying, and then they follow it up by lying about that. That's exactly what they do. The lib media lies. Then they lie about lying. And when they're caught, they lie about when they lied about lying. And then they follow it up by lying about that. Yes, they do, Dan Bongino. Yes, they do. All right. And yeah, this is interesting as well. Let's take a look at this. You know, I just realized that I do this a lot, and it's because I have a broken tooth back there. I need to get it looked after because it's painful, but that's what I'm doing. I don't have dentures, and I'm not Nancy Pelosi. Thank you, Lord. So yeah, if you see me doing that, that's what I'm doing. I got a broken tooth back here. I swallowed half of it too. Anyway. 3 mothers gave their kids to pedophiles in exchange for drugs in child sex trafficking ring run for decades by Ohio man who tried to bury the computer evidence in his garden. Yeah. Well, I'm just glad they got him. 9 people face a slew of federal charges for alleged involvement in a child sex trafficking ring believed to date back decades. It was allegedly run by Larry Dean Porter, 69, in his Wheelersburg, Ohio home. Authorities believe the ring traded illegal drugs for access to drug addicts' kids. Oh my gosh. Oh. The kids were said to have been sexually abused or photographed explicitly. Among the evidence authorities said they found was an SD memory card containing child pornography filmed in Porter's bedroom. Several of those charged, including 2 of Porter's daughters, are accused of trying to cover up the trafficking ring. Others charged include adults who allegedly brought children to Porter's home. At least 3 allegedly drug-addicted women face local charges in the case. Porter and others were arrested in Ohio beginning in March 2020. The FBI first began investigating Porter after receiving tips in April 2019. So this is today's news. A federal grand jury indicted 9 people on a slew of federal sex trafficking and obstruction charges related to an Ohio child sex trafficking ring that allegedly bartered illegal drugs to drug addicts in exchange for access to their children. Oh my gosh, those poor children. Not only do they have drug-addicted parents, but the drugs mean more to their parents than the children do. They're probably not being well cared for in the first place. Anybody that would exchange their child for drugs, there's something really bad wrong with them. The child sex trafficking ring investigated first grabbed headlines in March when Larry Dean Porter, 69, of Wheelersburg, Ohio, several others, including 3 local mothers, were arrested in connection with allegedly sexually molesting several children between the ages of 3 to 13 years old. Oh, this is him. Could you imagine those poor children being abused by him? I wish that, you know, I've never had children, but I always wanted to have a child. But, you know, life didn't just end up that way. And, you know, I see these people that have children and abuse them. And I think, you know, there are so many people out there that would love to have a child to love and to raise and to show that child love and affection and, you know, a safe home. But that bothers me. That really bothers me, because I think how unfair that they've been gifted with a child and they don't even love it or care for it. And there's so many others that would love to give a child a home. Sad. And so this is the gentleman. He's no gentleman. And this is the house, home of Larry Dean Porter on Lick Run, Lyra Road, Wheelersburg, Ohio, who is charged with molesting children. According to a Department of Justice announcement, Larry Porter was arrested with the help of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office after a sting in which he allegedly offered via Facebook messages to pay $80 to get access to a 7-year-old girl. During the Sting's prearranged meeting, the DOJ said Larry Porter allegedly said that he would be done around midnight and could return the girl at that time. Oh, the DOJ said that the FBI's Child Exploitation Task Force first began investigating Larry Porter in April 2019 after receiving reports from sources alleging that he gave parents of male and female children illegal drugs in exchange for receiving their consent to sexually abuse their children. Can you imagine being so strung out on drugs that you getting the next hit is more important than the well-being of your children? You'd allow them to be abused sexually, which remains with them their entire life. I can't comprehend that. I can't. In addition to supposedly providing drugs to the underage sexual abuse victims' parents in exchange for their consent, Larry Porter was alleged to have told the parents to participate in the abuse of their own children so that he could record it to use as blackmail. Following his arrest, the DOJ said in its June release that Porter, while in jail, made numerous phone calls and sent 3 letters to relatives and associates in an attempt to have them lie under oath, convince other witnesses to lie to authorities, or tell sources not to give information to the police. And let's say Larry Porter's cousin, Errol Wayne Porter Sr., 69, left, is charged with obstructing the investigation and conspiring to witness tamper. Charity Ann Rollins, 41, I would never have known that was a woman. Never in a million years would I have thought that's a woman. But it is. Apparently. Ann Rollins, 41, Wright, is accused of bringing a child to Larry Porter's home on a regular basis in exchange for pills. Okay, well, that explains it. She's a drug addict, but she's wearing a mask around her chin. Authorities allegedly found child porn videos matching files on Larry Porter's computer at the home of Frank E. Andrews, 68, left. W. David Cole, 62, Wright, allegedly removed and destroyed evidence from Larry Porter's home and discussed victims with him. Among the 9 people charged in connection with Larry Porter's alleged child sex trafficking ring were 2 of his daughters. 2 of his daughters. They've probably been abused their whole lives. Dina Sue Porter, 32, and she's old enough to make her own decisions, okay? She probably was abused as a child, but that, you know, that doesn't mean anything. I mean, it does mean something, but, you know, at 32, you should be able to break away if that's the case. Crystal D. Porter, 39. So his 2 daughters helped him. The DOJ said that it was alleged that in the days following their father's arrest, Dina and Crystal were seen making multiple trips to Larry Porter's property and digging holes in the ground of it. While authorities searched the grounds where the women were digging, they found an SD memory card buried inside a glass jar. The DOJ said court documents allege that the memory card contained child pornography images that were shot in Larry Porter's bedroom. Authorities said that 2 of Larry Porter's associates, Frankie Andrews, 68, of Wheelersburg, Ohio, and W. David Cole, 62, of Portsmouth, Ohio, were also seen making trips to his property. The DOJ said that agents searching Andrews' home found multiple child pornography videos with file titles matching those found on Larry Porter's computer. Cole, meanwhile, allegedly removed and destroyed evidence from Larry Porter's home. Authorities said that the Facebook messages allegedly showed Cole and Porter discussing child trafficking victims. 3 people who allegedly made children available to Larry Porter were also among those indicted. She's got a t-shirt that says blessed. I don't think so. I don't think she is. I really don't. I don't think, well, we know that God would never condone abusing a child, ever. He will forgive it. He will forgive somebody that's absolutely contrite and sorry, but that doesn't mean that there aren't consequences. Tasha Stringer, 37, allegedly recruited another woman to bring her child to Larry Porter and told police that she'd perform sex acts on the kids at his request. She looks like she's addicted to meth because her skin's a mess. And Catherine McMullen, 36, allegedly brought her 2 children to Larry Porter's home and also sexually abused them while there. Megan Richmond, 32, allegedly allowed Porter to abuse her daughter in exchange for drugs. I pray that those children are safe this evening, wherever they are. And I ask you, Lord, to protect them and watch over them. That is heartbreaking. So I'm not going to read all the rest of this. Says Ralph, okay, on July 1st, authorities took Larry Porter's son-in-law, Ralph Albert Aldridge of Columbus, into custody, according to the Daily Independent, which obtained the arrest warrant. Ralph Aldridge is Crystal Porter's husband and Joshua Aldridge's brother. Authorities said that during their investigation into Larry Porter, they received information stating that Ralph Aldridge would travel to see Larry Porter at least once a month to deliver at least a pound of marijuana to him. That's a lot of marijuana. A pound? Wow, that's a lot. He must have been being paid big bucks to, you know, he was probably, obviously he was recording this for a reason. He was probably selling those images or those videos, which is probably how he afforded to buy the drugs to get the kids. The information also indicated that Ralph Aldridge might have been delivering heroin as well. An informant also gave authorities a secret recording which featured Ralph Aldridge talking about going to Larry Porter's home after his March arrest to search for something in a strawberry patch, which would later be revealed to be the glass jar containing the aforementioned SD memory card with child pornography on it. Okay, well, this is a very, very long story, and I'm not going to, a very long story, but it's on the dailymail.co.uk if you wish to see more about this story. It's disgusting. I don't know, but, you know, all of this stuff that's in the news, every single day, there's more and more and more of this stuff in the news. So there has to be things happening. You know, when they are actively going after these child predators and taking down these rings one after another. Has that ever happened? I don't think it's ever happened under any other president. Sure, they might have made an arrest here and there, but not like this administration. They are serious about ending this. Serious. All right, let's go back now. Hopefully find something a little bit more cheery. Well, anything's more cheery than that. All right, Google engineer arrested at Portland riots. Again, this is from today. It's hot and fresh, like the Krispy Kreme donut sign. I absolutely, when I was in the States, I discovered Krispy Kreme donuts. Oh, and I'm so glad. I mean, I don't know if anywhere around here you can get them. Maybe you can, I don't know. But I haven't seen them. So, and I'm glad about that. And even if you can get them, they'd be in the box already. No, it's good when the hot and fresh sign's on. It's like a, I'm like a heat-seeking missile looking for that hot and fresh sign. Yeah. Oh, they're good. Right when they come out of the oven, they melt in your mouth. But it's a good thing that I don't have any around here. Really, it's a very good thing. Okay, with a virtual monopoly on search traffic, Google has the ability to effectively create and present their own reality to those searching on their platform. While this is something Google would never admit to, there's evidence they probably altered search results during the 2016 election to make them more favorable to Hillary Clinton and less charitable to Donald Trump. Probably? They're saying probably altered? They did alter. I mean, that's a fact. That's good water. All right. Of all the political donations made by employees at Google, or more specifically their parent company Alphabet, 88% went to Democrats and 12% to Republicans. As evidenced by one recent arrest, these tech employees are literally in control of the information you search for aren't your father's Democrats either. They're radicals. While a single mainstream outlet has yet to report on the arrest, the post-millennials Andy Ngo reported that over the weekend, 32-year-old Google engineer Zachary Ames Trudeau was arrested at the Antifa march in Portland, which has now gone on for 60 days straight. And thank goodness for Andy Ngo. He does a very, very good job, and he reports things that others would never dare to. Rioters gathered in multiple places overnight on the 25th to 26th of July in Portland for 60th night of violence. They blocked traffic and caused delays in firefighter response to a home. They launched explosives at the courthouse, tore down barriers, and assaulted officers. And back down here, he says Seattle area Google engineer Zachary Ames Trudeau was arrested at the Antifa riot in Portland, Oregon. The 32-year-old is charged with assault, attempting escape, resisting arrest, and more. He was quickly released. Gee, I wonder why. While the riots in Portland, like many others nationwide, initially began in response to the death of George Floyd, Floyd's family quickly denounced violence and looting. While his brother, Terrence Floyd, spoke to the media for the first time, he said of the rioters, "What are y'all doing? Y'all doing nothing, because that's not going to bring my brother back at all." Of course, to point out that leftist anarchists will use any excuse as a Trojan horse to create mayhem is probably just pointing out the obvious. Yeah. Very obvious. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how or if this story appears in Google search results. It doesn't. It doesn't. All right. Let's go back. All right. Okay, let's look at this now, because we can, and we will. We asked our readers to send, this is the Gateway Pundit, we asked our readers to send photos of the Democrat Party sanctioned destruction and rioting in their community. We were shocked at what they sent. Again, this is from today. For weeks now, since the death of George Floyd in May, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Marxists, and other far-left groups with the support of the Democrat Party have been looting, rioting, and destroying businesses, homes, and public property across America. The mainstream media has yet to air this destruction from the weeks of Democrat-endorsed violence and destruction. The Democrats don't want you to see the destruction. On Friday, we asked our readers to send photos of the Democrat-sanctioned devastation in their communities. We were overwhelmed with the response. We received over 100 emails and hundreds of photos. We've included many of them here. Out of respect for many of our readers, we maintain their anonymity. Well, that's probably wise. Remember, as you read this, Democrats are destroying this country, and the mainstream media is hiding this from you. So here's Columbus, Ohio. Of course, everything's boarded up here. You know, and there's, I don't know, I can't see any other damage in that particular picture. And here's more. There's some, you know, graffiti. Everything's boarded up. And here, boarded up. Now, to me, I mean, of course, they wouldn't have to be boarded up if there wasn't violence around, right? But here we're getting to, there is a burned down auto zone, complete rubble. I'm sorry I can't make this bigger for you guys. Let me see if I can do this, because I know you guys on your tiny phones have trouble sometimes seeing. But look at here. This has been burnt down. Winehouse Liquors, wine and spirits. This has all been burned, and now it's been boarded up to prevent, I don't know, I guess they can't burn it down further. Well, I guess they could, but I don't know why they would board it up at this point. And let's come down. This is in Portland, Oregon. Cars just smashed. No particular reason. Just because they're there, I guess. And here, this is, where is this? Doesn't say. Must be still Portland. Here they're building a fire there. There's somebody smashing a window with a skateboard. Looks like he's trying to get into the ATM. Looks like a bank. And here, this is, it's a restaurant and bar. They've obviously smashed the window, but it doesn't look like anything inside has been damaged. And here, this store, whatever it was, there's nothing inside, and it's been completely looted. The windows are broken out. And you can see further down the street, there's more mayhem that has occurred. It says, tonight will mark the 60th night of riots and civil unrest in Portland. Here is a current look at the scene. Wow.
Who's life better? Who's life better? Black lives matter.
Well, and the thing is, it's like they've raised all this money, but none of it is going to help black people. None of it. I'll show you if I can find it. I've got it in my list here somewhere, what their money's going towards. And here's another glass window. It looks like this store's been looted. And again here, San Diego. This is San Diego. That looks like it's, well, I don't know, maybe a post office. Yeah, mailboxes. It's been CVS pharmacy. It's been closed down, looted. F cops. Here's something smashed. F Trump. And this is Pennsylvania. Windows boarded up. Look at this tank going down the street. I don't know whose side that tank's on. I hope it's the right side. And there's a Gap factory store. It's all boarded up. It's probably been looted. I'm quite certain. And this is something, Sexy Nails. Well, there you go. Sexy Nails and Waxing. They've been, well, this part of it has been broken into. Models, again. And, you know, the only reason they're doing that, to break the windows, is they're looting and setting fires. Yeah, this is what our cities now look for. And this says cook bacon. I have no idea what that means. And this window has been smashed. Kill cops. It's terrible. Starbucks. Like somebody has just gone down that row and broken every window. And those plate glass windows are very, very, very expensive to replace. Have you ever had to replace a window in your house? That's a lot of money, let alone a big plate glass window like that. And for what? What did these people do to anybody? Really? What did the people in Starbucks do to anybody? And there's probably, you know, blacks that work there. At least a few. So, you know, the thing, I don't get it, because they're looting and you know, doing all this damage to buildings, and it puts people out of work. And look at this, where a statue once was. It's awful. Our cities are beginning to look worse than the third world. And this is a big statue. It looks like an elk or something. Why is that offensive to anybody? Why would that be offensive to anybody? I guess because it's there. It's there, so they think we need to destroy it. Trump is Satan, plain and simple. No votes for Kanye. All right. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I'm afraid to find out. Looks like somebody's breaking in there. Conservative author Mishel Malkin was attacked and beaten at a rally in support of police in Denver. And look at this. It's been burnt to the ground. I think it's important that we look at some of these pictures to know what's happening. And look at this. This looks like Beirut or something. It's unbelievable. Look at this. That was once a vehicle. Oh, that was a transport trailer. Looks like it exploded. They probably set it on fire and it exploded because look, there's nothing left of it. You can just see the wheels. Unbelievable. And look at this. I know it's blurry, but you can tell the devastation there. And the thing is, a lot of times there's people living up above those stores. So they're not just wrecking the stores, but they're burning out residents that live above. Wells Fargo, they tried to get into that. Looks like they may have been successful. I don't know. But can't imagine how much an ATM machine would cost to repair. And this is more Portland. I don't even know what they're doing here. They're boarding up, but it looks like it's inside. I don't know what they're boarding up. Oh, maybe the courthouse. That's it. I bet you that's it. And look at this. More Portland. Portland. Everything's boarded up. And people really are fleeing New York City. I know Cuomo says, no, people are coming here because it's so safe. There's people from all the other states are coming here now because it's so safe. Right. Yeah, everyone's getting out. They're leaving the big cities. And you know why? Because the police can't help them anymore. You know, in some of these Democrat cities, the police can't help. You're on your own. And New York City is not a place where I'd want to be on my own, or Portland, or any of these Democrat crap holes. So here we got, well, they left the veterinary hospital alone, so I guess they like animals. But Capone's craft beer, they attacked that. Hang on here. I know you may think that I'm taking too long with this, but I do think it's important that we see this because we're not seeing it on the news at all. We're not seeing it at all. There's nobody showing this stuff. And this is coming from actual people that are out there in these locations that are taking these pictures. So, and here, everything boarded up. Bombay Wraps, looks like they've been hit. Starbucks coffee, they tend to like to attack Starbucks for some reason. I guess all that looting and pillaging and rioting, you know, makes them thirsty. Dunkin' Donuts. What did Dunkin' Donuts ever do to anybody? More Columbus, Ohio. I love you, black man. Okay. Mexican owned, we stand with you, Black Lives Matter. I guess they have to do that. You know, even if they weren't with them, they'd have to put that or else they'd be attacked. Jimmy John's gourmet sandwiches, they've been hit. And Walgreens, they've been looted. They were probably looking for drugs. And what's this? I don't know, but it's like That's just senseless. And why are they punishing the shop owners who are employing people? I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, because these are people that are being paid to riot and pillage and create damage and unrest and fear, and they're succeeding. Already robbed. It says already robbed, minority owned. Wow, that's sad. There's Domino's, burnt pretty much to the ground. You know, the people that live in these communities must be just beside themselves, because the places where they shop, they buy groceries, fast food places, you know, local watering holes, restaurants, these people are equal opportunity offenders. If it's there, they'll attack it. And look at this. That's a building that's been burnt. New York, kill. Where did all this hatred? Now, yes, there are some bad police. We all know that. But for the most part, no. And they've got very difficult jobs to do. I don't know where all this hatred's coming from. Well, I do. They're manufacturing it. No justice, no peace. Well, and I guess there they are, hanging out in a park. So I don't know. We're getting to the end here. Abolish capitalism. There's a 7-Eleven that's been totally looted. Dunkin' Donuts. Another Dunkin' Donuts. Contact, an eyeglass place, been looted. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's smashed in. Yep. What do they want with eyeglasses? Central camera since 1899. Well, not anymore. It's terrible. Portland, they're blinding police with the lasers. They've literally blinded police with lasers. And there's more in Portland. I think that's Portland. All right, and there they are doing the Black Lives Matter. I guess that's what they're doing. Terrified woman mobbed by violent protesters hit gas to escape. Police won't arrest her and let her drive on home. So this is what's happening in our cities. So I don't know. If any of you are seeing this where you are, let us know in the comments, because I'd really like to know what it's like out there, because you know, we can't, I'm not in a city. I don't see any of this. I'm only relying on what other people are showing in videos and on Twitter and so forth, Instagram, what have you. So yeah, I think it's important that we realize what is happening. All right, this from Mary Ann Michael. Black Lives Matter was formed 7 years ago and has raised over $1 billion. $1 billion in 1 year. 7 years. Not one neighborhood cleanup. Not one black child sent to college. No school supplies bought. No food bought. They have bought buses used to transport members to riots. Where is the rest of the money? Weapons and DNC. That's right. It goes to the Democrat Party, and they're buying weapons. But you know how much these buses cost? They cost like $500,000. They are very, very expensive. These great big buses, I know, because my mom had a little, well, it wasn't so little, but she had her own little tour company. And, you know, when she retired from teaching, she started a business and did very, very well at it. But those tour buses are very, 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 very expensive. And yeah, and look at these. These are the best of the best here. So they have these very expensive buses to transport people to, you know, to create mayhem wherever they decide to hit. All right. Now, Charlie Kirk says voter fraud is real. A California man just pled guilty to paying homeless people on Skid Row to forge voter registration and ballot initiative signatures in the 2016 and 2018 elections. Is this why California is solid blue now? Well, of course. You don't think that it got blue playing fair, do you? I don't think so. And then Donald J. Trump says the following: the 2020 election will be totally rigged if mail-in voting is allowed to take place, and everyone knows it. So much time is taken talking about foreign influence, but the same people won't even discuss mail-in election corruption. Look at Paterson, New Jersey. 20% of vote was corrupted. Now, let's look at this, because this is very, very important. American flag lowered over U.S. consulate in Chengdu as Chinese agents take it over. So, yeah, the American embassy now in China, the one in Chengdu, has been taken over by the Chinese now, in what Beijing has called a legitimate and necessary response to last Friday's federal agent raid and forced closure of China's consulate in Houston. Slammed as unreasonable actions, the American consulate in Chengdu, capital of southwest China's Sichuan province, has officially been shuttered as of Monday morning at 10 a.m. on July 27th, according to the Chinese side's request. The U.S. Consulate General in Chengdu was closed. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said tight security was seen around the complex throughout the weekend as moving vans pulled up to the facility. CGTN, the Chinese state broadcaster, announced that the American flag had been lowered at about 6:18 a.m. local time on Monday. Now, this is serious because tensions are really building quickly between the U.S. and China, and I don't think it's good. There's a lot of things that are right on the horizon that are not good, and I think I'm going to probably discuss some of that tomorrow in my broadcast tomorrow. Not just this, but some things that I firmly believe are just right on the cusp of occurring. All right, video: U.S. consulate staff in southwest China's Chengdu leave under high security. So, yeah, while the Chinese consulate in Houston has been given 72 hours by the U.S. government to vacate before it was seized by federal agents wielding crowbars and power tools to gain entry, it's as yet unclear how much prior warning the Chengdu consulate had before closure. CNN had described Friday's final raid and shutdown of the Chinese consulate in Houston as follows: U.S. federal agents and local law enforcement entered the Chinese consulate compound in Houston earlier Friday in a series of black SUVs, trucks, 2 white vans, and a locksmith's van as a crowd of observers and news cameras observed from the edge of the diplomatic compound. So, and we know that they were, the Chinese embassy in Houston there was involved in espionage activities. All right, let's come back here. And let's see, we're running out of time here, so I'm going to try to, and I'm not up to doing 2 videos tonight because I've been in tremendous amount of pain. If you're a believer, please pray. My back has been so, it's an old injury. I have a spinal injury that limits me a lot. And it had gotten to a place where it was really good because I was getting regular care, and this guy that was dealing with my back is just phenomenal. People drive for hours just to see him. And he was the first person that could really help me. But now he's not working because of COVID. And he's elderly. He's in his 80s. So I don't even know if he's coming back to work. And I've aggravated that injury. So I am in desperate shape. But I'm going tomorrow for a treatment. So I'm hoping it's going to work, because this has been a most uncomfortable few days for me. All right, let's, I'm going to go to 11. How long have we been recording here? Well, we're already over an hour, but, well, if you can stand another 10 minutes, I'll go to 11. All right, let's look at this. Seattle police send message to businesses and residents. There are riots. City council banned use of pepper spray, other crowd control agents. So now we have no ability to safely intercede to preserve property in the midst of a large violent crowd. Shorter, you're on your own. And basically, that is what this says. I'm not going to take the time to read it right now, but they are not allowed to use anything, basically, to protect themselves at all. Please know that Seattle Police Department is committed to addressing life safety incidents and calls for service and responding to ongoing demonstrations and unrest in the city. Please also know that the City Council Ordinance 119805 crowd control tool goes into effect this weekend on Sunday. This ordinance bans Seattle police officers the use of less lethal tools, including pepper spray that is commonly used to disperse crowds that have turned violent. Simply put, the legislation gives officers no ability to safely intercede to preserve property in the midst of a large violent crowd. So basically, they're saying, you're on your own. We can't do anything about it. It is important to bring to your attention that yesterday I sent the City Council a letter ensuring that as the Chief of Police, I have done my due diligence of informing them numerous times of the foreseeable impact of this ordinance on upcoming events. The letter is attached for your reference. For these reasons, Seattle Police will have an adjusted deployment in response to any demonstrations this weekend, as I will never ask our officers to risk their personal safety to protect property without the tools to do so in a safe way. So it's like they're taking away everything from the police, and the police have just had to say, look, you're on your own. If the crowds turn violent and they're burning down things and looting and whatever, we can't stop them anymore, because they've taken our ability to do that out of our hands. Very sad. Very, very sad. I feel so sorry for the people that are caught in all of this. Now, let's take a look at this. Now, despite mainstream media dispelling the rumors that Ellen DeGeneres is under house arrest, California arrest records indicate otherwise. Her arrest comes as many A-list celebs are under scrutiny for their purported involvement in child trafficking and ritualistic sexual abuse. So yeah, you know, they're saying, oh no, it's just a rumor, and that's crazy conspiracy theory. Ellen's not under house arrest, but the California arrest records state otherwise. Ellen Lee DeGeneres, 62, Encino, California, Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, California, Los Angeles, relative Betty P. DeGeneres. So yeah, there you go. That's her. So, yeah. So much for those conspiracy theories. They turn out to be conspiracy facts. Now, let's, I'm going to skip the other thing about Ellen. Let me just bring this up because Ellen DeGeneres show workplace under investigation by Warner Media. Huh. That's interesting, to say the very least. The Ellen DeGeneres Show has become the subject of an internal investigation by Warner Media following numerous accounts of workplace problems on the long-running daytime series. Variety has learned executives from show producer, Telepictures, and distributor Warner Brothers Television sent a memo to staffers last week saying they have engaged WBTV owner Warner Media's employee relations group and a third-party firm who will interview current and former staff members about their experiences on set, said sources. A Warner Brothers television spokesperson declined to comment on the matter. A rep for the Ellen DeGeneres Show did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. The memo comes on the heels of recent unflattering reports about working conditions on the show. In April, Variety reported on the treatment of legacy crew members during the coronavirus lockdown. In mid-July, BuzzFeed published a report alleging racism and intimidation on the show. The memo came from the desk of Telepictures Executive Vice President Donna Redier-Linsk and Warner Brothers TV Vice President of Human Resources Donna Hancock husband. The name of the third-party consultant was not immediately clear. Both companies underscored their commitment to providing an environment where employees can flourish, said one of the individuals familiar with the document. BuzzFeed's story contained a spectrum of accused racist behavior, from microaggression to jokes about mistaking two black female employees with the same hairstyle, as well as criticism of statements allegedly made to another staffer by executive producer Ed Glavin. Glavin and fellow executive producer Andy Lassner and Mary Connolly addressed the allegations in a joint statement to BuzzFeed. We are truly heartbroken and sorry to learn that even one person in our production family has had a negative experience. It's not who we are and not who we strive to be, and not the mission Ellen has set for us, the group said. For the record, the day-to-day responsibility of the Ellen Show is completely on us. We take all of this very seriously, and we realize, as many in the world are learning, that we need to do better and are committed to do better, and we will do better. In April, Variety reported about distress and outrage among DeGeneres production crew who were subjected to poor communication and told to expect reduced compensation during initial coronavirus shutdowns, even as the series hired non-union crews to mount a quarantined production from the host's Los Angeles home. The crew was restored to full pay prior to the publication of Variety's report. At the time, a Warner Brothers spokesperson acknowledged that communications could have been better, but cited complications due to the chaos caused by COVID-19. Warner Media has, like all the other studios, been under pressure in recent years to investigate all claims of workplace hostility in response to increased focus on misconduct in the wake of Me Too movement. So we'll have to see where that ends up going. Because there seems to be a lot of people saying that not a great place to work and not the happy-go-lucky person that she seems to be on air. I don't know, but I guess we will find out after they investigate. All right, and I will get to all of this eventually, just not tonight. Now, I don't know why I put what. Let's look at this. Oh, I think I know what this is. Okay, this is bizarre. And I think, even though this is blurry, that this is because it says Jello has a dick. Well, I think that's J-Lo, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks like her, but let me make this bigger and I want you to look, because that ain't a woman. No way. Okay, now let's take a look. There's no sound to it. What the heck is that? It sure looks like J-Lo to me. But J-Lo has a part that I would never have suspected she had. So I don't know what to make of that. I really don't. I don't know what you make of it either. But that's kind of like that Michelle Obama when she was dancing and there was something dancing in her pants as well. Well, there's something dancing in those pants, and yeah, that ain't a woman. I'm just saying. So, I don't know. I'm just putting that out there. You guys can comment below. But, you know, be careful what you say. Oh my. All right. Well, we're just almost at 11 here. Let me see if there is at least one more little one that I can get to here. Well, I think all of these are a little bit longer. I'm not sure what that is, to tell you the truth. Let's look at that. Oh, yes, yes. I wanted to let you guys know that. Mnuchin, this was July 25th. I don't know if you guys have heard this. This is the first that I've heard that something was decided upon. Virus aid package soon. $1,200 checks by August. So I guess that's good news because there's probably many of you that need that. I have no doubt that many of you need that. So that is good. I don't know all the details, but they're saying that it will be by August. So, well, they should have said in August, because by August means that it's going to be here before August, and I really don't see that happening. So, anyway, okay, well, I'm going to leave it at that, and sorry that I had to, you know, leave it with the dancing pants there. So, yeah, anyway, I'm going to call it a night tonight, and I'll be back tomorrow, and that's it. So you guys have a wonderful night. I wish I could do 2 videos tonight. I really wish I could, but I'm getting to my absolute pain threshold here, and I'm going to need to go and lay on ice for a while. So anyway, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you guys that have stuck by me. I really appreciate that. I feel bad about some of the regulars that I lost, but I feel bad because they're great people, and I used to love what, you know, looking at their comments and so forth, but it is what it is at this point. So thank you guys so much. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, keep seeking truth. Deception bites. Good night, guys.